Welcome back to the Two Guys, Four Cents, One Eric, One Steven podcast.
How dare you say my name?
One Steven, no
One
Eric
Eric.
podcast.
Podcast. Talk show.
Where we normalize vocabulary. In
The use of vocabulary and the use of objectivity.
You know, it sounds like we're slowly losing our minds. You know, the beginning of this podcast was like, welcome back to the Two Guys, Four. Now it's like, it's just.
You know what? You know why that is?
Why is that?
Is because the subject that we're going to talk about is
You never fail to be. We might be losing our minds, but you never fail to pull the subject back and take us all.
Bring it back, baby.
Yeah.
That's what life's about. Bring it back.
Yeah,
Bring it back. Now.
Bring it back now, y'all.
Cryptocurrency.
Cryptocurrency.
Okay? Mind-blowing technology.
Cryptocurrency, or, Bitcoin, for people that don't know. We'll get into it, but it's about cryptocurrency. And
Listen.
Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency, but cryptocurrency is not always a Bitcoin.
Right. So, listen, Steven, I'd be lying if I said I understand the gist of it. But certain things I understand of it. But I think most of the time during this podcast, I'll have no idea what I'm talking about.
That's okay.
So
You did some due diligence, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You understood basically everything that you read as
Yeah.
As it always is.
Collateralized loans.
Collateralized loan debt.
Digital loans.
Yeah, debt.
Can't wait to go see my digital wife and my digital house.
Yeah, you're just owning
Non-fungible.
a fungible, non-marginalized loan. I'm gonna end it there.
So we're gonna brush over all that vocabulary that you just spewed out.
Yeah.
And we'll share our 2 cents on it. So here it is.
Eric, cryptocurrency.
Listen, there's some attractive aspects to it.
Yeah.
Very attractive
Well, first
aspects.
of all, there is. Well,
But here's the thing. I'm going to start off by a comparison, okay? So on Wall Street, right? These bears, they're using lingos that regular day-to-day people have no fucking clue what they're talking about.
mm-hmm.
And I think that's deliberately done.
Yeah.
I think that's absolutely calculated so that the general public, they'll just find it way too complicated to invest themselves in it. That they'll forget about.
That's like why in like lawful documents or like a constitution or whatever Canadian's equivalent to a constitution is. I'm obviously Canadian, so
Yeah,
I know
exactly.
That. Yeah. So, it's just the words that you like. Never use them in normal English.
No. It's
like,
always just the most complicated, overstretched. See what I'm doing?
Yeah. Huge, like my vocabulary is pretty in depth, so like
Huge?
Yeah.
My vocabulary is huge. Gigantic.
Yeah.
Tremendous.
Mega,
And I feel like they do that obviously deliberately in hopes that people don't discover not the secrets, but just how to maneuver properly around investing.
Oh, just what's going on.
And just what's going on in general. Absolutely. Yeah. And you know what? When I was watching some videos on cryptocurrency, some of them I found really good ones
mm-hmm.
where they break it down in normal English and explain what the hell's going on. And you're like, oh,
okay.
I actually
this makes
kind
sense.
of grasped
it's not,
this idea. Yeah.
The fundamentals are confusing and complicated.
Sure, but
no
one looks at fundamentals. Come on.
Nah.
It's a lot of this market, which not a lot of this market, but a lot of things are based around hype, so you got to be careful, for sure.
Yeah. No, I guess more by the fundamentals, I meant just the building blocks and how it actually
right.
Maybe low level is the right word. I don't know if you know what that means.
No.
In programming, it's like a high level is like you just get the overview of everything and you really understand it. Like a high level understanding of software,
bird's
high level
eye view.
Understanding a software high level.
Like Eminem on the rap game. He's got the bird's eye view because he's the king.
I mean, not really.
You don't think
No,
he's a king?
no, like I mean that's not what it means.
Oh, okay.
Understanding this is what I'm saying. Understanding a website or something high level is really like you know your way around Instagram.
Right.
That's understanding what high level. Low level is understanding how it's built.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah. So if you understand something, if you really get into the low level stuff, you're really in the like
You're
in the dirt,
You're in
and
it.
in the roots.
In it, though, in it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, what were you saying?
Yeah. Well, when I was watching a video on NFTs, non-fungible tokens, I had the same vibe where it's like they're using a very specific lingo that I have no idea where to start to even begin.
Mm-hmm.
It's overwhelming, and then that doesn't really encourage someone
No, and it's also
to learn about it.
That's the thing, and it's
And
also,
I feel like cryptocurrency is variably interesting.
yeah, it is.
Right?
Oh yeah,
and
absolutely.
I mean, I think it deserves a lot
When
more
you-
attention.
when you really
and-
put like the work into to understand it and try to get around all of the bullshit and people trying to sound smarter than they actually are,
like me.
it's extremely interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You always want to sound smarter than you actually are,
Oh, for
which
sure.
is evident. That's why we're doing
Exactly.
the podcast.
Exactly. To expose myself.
I hope we're like obviously satire. You know, I hope
No,
people
I'm
can
being
tell.
serious.
Oh, you are. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
That's good. That's good. I wouldn't want that.
No, I
But
wouldn't
yeah,
want that
so
either.
it's when you really get down and understand it, and it's with anything too. The things that I've really started to learn
Mm.
is just getting a general. I'm going to sound like an idiot here, but getting a general understanding. I mean, teaching myself a lot of stuff that otherwise would have seemed like when I was in high school or whatever, just daunting and too much to get into. Like, oh, I'll never understand that
Right.
because it's really like it's not that hard.
No.
And
And I think the more you learn about it, the more you wish you would have started before.
exactly,
That's how I feel.
exactly.
Because things are clicking, and there's certain things where I've felt like I've wasted so much time. But I mean, listen, the past is the past.
Mm-hmm.
We focus on the now. It's not too late. It's never too late, especially when you're looking at long term. So
Exactly. So I guess we'll get started on the basis. We talked about it. We're gonna do a couple episodes on cryptocurrency. I don't know necessarily if there'll be like a little mini series like we have been doing. They might be,
might be.
but we're gonna be doing a couple episodes on just the whole world that is cryptography currency.
Right. And
That's exactly what it stands for. Do you know that?
No.
Yeah. No, it doesn't stand for that. I mean, it might. I don't know.
you might have created something.
No, I think it does like non-jokingly. I think it does stand for because there's a big side of cryptography.
Okay,
and
non-jokingly, I think you're talking like just to talk.
no, I'm not.
No. Yeah. No.
Listen, I'm not. No, it's besides the point.
I don't even understand the point you made. So.
Yeah, that's besides the whole point that I just said. That,
Okay.
yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, you understood it. So
Yeah.
So the basis is of cryptocurrency. Basically,
Yes.
when somebody says cryptocurrency, you won't understand. Majority of people won't understand what cryptocurrency is.
I don't know. I think that's making an assumption.
Well,
Maybe.
that's what I build my business off of is making assumptions. Yeah. You just assume everything of everyone, and like one or two times out of 1,000,000, you're right. So
Yeah. You know what? That's a very good point.
mm-hmm.
We should all talk so much because eventually you're going to be right about
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, definitely. So
So
like,
just
why
sporadically cover.
drop everything on the table?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter what it is.
No,
Just
exactly.
drop it all, and eventually you'll come across something, and you'll be like, I'm right.
I was right about that the
Yeah.
whole time.
I knew it. I mean, so back to what we were saying. Do you think that, if you say cryptocurrency to the general population, they won't understand what it is?
I listen. I think it's a safe assumption
Yeah.
to make
So
for sure.
basically, but I
And-
feel like the majority, most people will know what Bitcoin is what I'm trying to get to.
Right. I think most people would know the gist of cryptocurrency.
Mm-hmm.
But how many people would know about the details of it? Not sure. That's when I think you're heading into some
Yeah.
gray area.
Yeah, I think
Because
so
that's
too.
when things start getting complex, bunch of lingo getting thrown around, and that's when people get disinterested.
But it's strange too
Because listen. The people that are invested in cryptocurrency right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
to survive the volatility of cryptocurrency, you've got to be bullish. And,
You need to-
and
yeah.
to be bullish, you've got to be knowledgeable.
Yeah.
And you must have done your due diligence.
Yeah.
Because me, when I see my portfolio going up, down, sideways, I don't care
Mm-hmm.
because I know the research I've done.
Yeah. And you trust.
So unless something else pops out, like bankruptcy, then I'm not going to panic.
No,
You
that's
know?
right.
And I feel like the people that got the skin in the game right now, they know what they've gotten themselves into.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, listen, cryptocurrency is known. I would say another assumption would be people know how volatile cryptocurrency is,
Yeah.
and they know how hard it can crash at any time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think it's called like isn't the crash called something for crypto? Like there's a specific name to it.
Yeah. So
Because
when
it's so notorious for crashes.
it's when it halves.
Is it
So
called
it's
a
the
death
amount.
crash?
Well, I think this is where you're getting at. They call it the halvening. Is that it?
I don't know. I was asking you, bro.
That might be what you're talking about. So a lot of it, what it is that where do I even start? So with Bitcoin especially, because cryptocurrency basically is a category of digital currency that is not tangible.
Right.
That's a high level of saying it. Right.
Right.
So with Bitcoin, I believe it's 2 years. I might be wrong, but I believe it's every 2 years. The amount of Bitcoin you get as a reward for validating another transaction, mining. So that's what mining is, right?
Right. They
So
validate the
You
transactions.
don't actually
between people.
mine, like you're not looking for Bitcoin.
Right.
You're validating transactions that are happening.
Right.
And when you validate that, you get a reward.
Right.
So that reward, it's the amount of computing power you need to be able to validate a transaction is
there.
astronomical.
Yeah.
So many computers and a lot of people validate one transaction and it gets split.
Right.
So
And
right now
doesn't
the
that
reward,
create blockchains?
yeah.
If I understood,
We'll get to that.
Okay. Okay.
I might need to look on my phone for specifically blockchains because that's part
Come on.
where I'm not 100% sure on. And
why we're here.
I really hope that I did do research. I'm not saying that I know everything. This is just what I've read and sort of what I understand.
Yeah.
Filling in the pieces here and there.
From what I've read, there's things that I grasped,
Yeah.
and there's things that I did not,
Mhm.
and that's why I want to do multiple episodes on it,
Mhm.
because it's a forever changing thing.
Exactly.
And I think that the objective of this first episode is just to talk in general about it,
Mhm.
just to get other people maybe talking about
Yeah.
it as well.
And maybe
because-
just understanding what it is because I'm sure that it's a buzzword right now. Bitcoin, cryptocurrency.
yeah,
It's a buzzword. Everything's happening with it.
and the spectrums are everywhere.
Mhm.
There's people that think it's an absolute scam.
Yeah.
There's certain people, which I would be on this side. It has the potential to overthrow the system
be
we've got
huge.
going now.
Yeah.
I would say
Mhm.
it has that power. I'm on that side of the spectrum. There's
Yeah.
no way that's a scam.
So, yeah, back to it.
Yeah.
The halvening every 2 years. So currently, right now, when somebody successfully validates a transaction
Mhm.
to make sure that I'm not going to go because I don't know exactly what validating a transaction means, so we'll just leave it there.
Mhm.
Whenever somebody validates a transaction and it gets validated across a bunch of computers, right now the prize, or the reward is 12.5 Bitcoin. And so in 2 years, that happened in March or May of 2020. That's when that halved. So in 2022, the reward will be 6.25 Bitcoin. So what that does is it makes, for some reason or another, I don't exactly know why again, but it makes everything crash. And then if you look at the graphs, right after that happened, it skyrocketed.
Right.
So May of 2020, March of 2020 was at $4,000 per Bitcoin. Now it's at 70,000.
Right.
So
Which is insane.
yeah, it's just
You know?
absolutely wild. So yeah, that's what I think is a lot of the cause. The strange thing about Bitcoin, specifically Bitcoin, is that the thing that people don't understand and think that it's a scam is because there's no tangible stuff that you have, right? Like for a bank, you can withdraw any money that you want because a bank is money's tangible.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm arguing one side of this argument, and because I know we have stuff to talk about the other side. And so what people are saying is like it's not
Physical.
It's not based on anything.
No.
The only thing it is based on, which is the thing that I find extremely appealing about it, but it's also dangerous, is it's the value of Bitcoin is based on people purchasing and selling it, supply and demand.
Right. For sure.
And that's what makes it skyrocket.
Right.
Or go down, actually.
Or go down.
When people sell it like crazy, it goes down because there's a lot more supply. There's a lot more volume
Yes.
out there
Mm-hmm.
of Bitcoins available. So let's get into that part. So that's what we were saying. What I was saying. That the good part that I find about it, and the dangerous thing about Bitcoin, is how it's only dependent on the people that are purchasing it and interested in it.
Yes.
So do you want to talk about the other side of that? So that's why people are saying that money, physical money, like Canadian dollars, US dollars, and physical cash in banks are more safe.
Right. Well, I would say physical cash right now is probably it's heading out the door. Physical cash.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because more and more people are.
I mean, especially with COVID.
Yeah.
Because there's like every gas station that I go to, it says if you go inside, please try to pay at the pump. If you go inside, try not to use cash.
Right. And I mean, even before then, it's more people are realizing that holding cash, you're just burning the value of your money.
Mm-hmm. Literally.
Quite literally.
Because
yes.
of inflation.
Inflation. And that's one of the most attractive parts about cryptocurrency. And let's talk about Bitcoin especially, is because, well, listen, it's decentralized.
Yeah.
So what does that mean is no one can determine or no one can influence the deflation or inflation, for example, like the government can do with regular money.
Because the government
they can just print more.
Print more money.
Printer go burr.
And so that's the part that I can't even. I'm not even going to try to do. They sound like a Wookiee. Like Chewbacca. Chewbacca?
Yeah.
Is Chewbacca Star Wars?
I'm pretty.
Or am I just?
Chewbacca is Star Wars.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know why I second thought myself there, but
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Have a bit of confidence in yourself,
I
Steven.
need to, I know.
Chewbacca equals Star Wars.
Sorry.
Okay. So again, yeah, the one guy can't just print a bunch of Bitcoins and inflate it to shit.
Mm-hmm.
Can't happen. It's decentralized.
Exactly. And that's why I made I focused when I was explaining what mining Bitcoin is. It's not actually getting Bitcoin out of nowhere.
Right.
You're validating purchases, and that's the way to bring new Bitcoin in. But with Bitcoin, it's a limited amount. Like it will eventually, because it's always halving, it will eventually end.
Right.
Now, it's a little strange because if you constantly halve something, it'll go to infinity.
Right.
But it will eventually end. There's only
But it's going to become so minuscule that it'll probably end up being not worth mining them.
Yeah.
Like the reward.
No, that's right.
Because
but there's also
mining them, like you said, it takes astronomical power and, that electricity bills.
I think I was wrong there. I think that the way to circumvent that problem is to make it, when you get to a certain point and you've mined Bitcoin 2 billion, you can't halve again. It's done.
Oh. Okay.
I think I just thought of that one.
Okay.
I believe that's why they did it like that. I don't know. I could be bullshitting you and pulling your ear right now, but so yeah. There's no inflation, right? So you can't.
Well, what I was gonna also touch on is because, like you had previously mentioned, it's running off of the faith of the public, right? And supply and demand. And honestly, we could make the same argument with cash and money, right? For example, I mean, when we got away from this in the 70s, it was Richard Nixon again. We got away from the gold standard, right? So the way
money used to be and has been up until that point.
Right. So if I understood correctly, it's your money always had a certain value in gold.
Mm-hmm. And you could, like, the way it was, is you can go to any bank. I don't know. I believe it was a thing in Canada too. But again, I mean, the world we live in, everything revolves around the States.
Sure, yeah.
So
Powerhouse.
yeah,
Power cell.
So you used to be able to. It used to say on the actual dollar or on the deed
Mhm.
of money that you had, be it a dollar or whatever, that you can go to a bank and get this much gold
Right.
whenever you want. And as of the 70s and Richard Nixon, that went away. So gold, I mean, so cash was based on gold, which is something that can't be printed.
Right. But now, since they forgot about that idea, now we could say the same about cash.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing giving value to money right now is us, the consumers, the producers.
People buying and selling stuff.
Right. It's the supply and demand. The only thing, you can make the same argument. The only thing that's making money have value right now
But that's
is
a big
us
thing.
having faith in it.
It is. And that's a big thing with any kind of currency is the only way it works is if it's used.
Exactly.
Right. It comes down to that.
And I think the reason I feel like cryptocurrency has such a future is because we're getting away from the idea that, well, I don't know, I might be talking out of my ass here, but for example, me, and I feel like in general, we should get away from thinking that the government is here for our well-being.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I think.
I mean, no, I agree. I'd like to think to a certain point there is some goodwill because I like to have that optimism.
Listen,
It's easier to have that optimism, just
it's easy, but at the end of the day, I feel like it's foolish to think that they're doing it for the good of the people. Like, I mean, like, listen, of course, we're benefiting from certain things that they do. But we're also getting bit in the ass way more than it's benefiting us.
yeah,
That's the way I see it.
yeah.
For example, I mean, look at this, the way they're handling this whole pandemic, especially Canada. My goodness, we're brutal.
Yeah.
Wow, like we cannot manage a crisis and we need to lean on every other country?
Mm-hmm.
You're kidding. We're part of the G7 and we can't even be autonomous. We can't even be self-empowered.
You can't. Yeah, that's
It's unbelievable. Unreal. Right? Like, not to go on completely sidetracked, but we're not producing vaccines in our country. We didn't have the emergency materials, such as the masks. That's unreal. Why were we not prepared as a country for that?
It's
And
no, it is unreal.
Yeah.
Finish your sentence.
And just so you see, again, with all the lockdowns, but all the major companies, Dollarama, Walmart, Costco, they don't need to close.
No.
Lo and behold, you have, Walmart open, but you can't have a little barber's shop with
one
five,
person in there at a
three
time.
people spaced out completely with masks getting a haircut.
Yeah.
That's wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not allowed to go to the gym. 10 people in the gym max? Wrong.
And the malls being open too. Like,
Holy jeez. It's
I saw a
crooked.
post actually. I believe it was on Facebook, of somebody saying like gyms should be it should be essential.
Yes.
Like qualified under the government is essential.
Yeah. There's no way you can't qualify a gym as non-essential.
Yeah.
The gym, holy smokes, let's get away from the gym being just for your physical health.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah. Yeah.
People are out there to socialize, work on themselves,
Mm-hmm. improve
their mental health,
Clear their mind.
clear their mind, escape from reality. Man, it's just so much deeper than
There's
that.
so much. Yeah.
So, forgive me, but come on, you can't say that the government is acting upon goodwill.
So I'm gonna play a bit of devil's
Devical.
a bit of devil's advocate. So with producing or having the materials to be able to produce masks and the vaccines, like we should have had that in place. I agree definitely. But it's such before the pandemic. We're thinking pre-pandemic here, pre-COVID, before we knew everything like that. It, like was what it was actually like. How did we? It's something so strange. Be like that can never happen. Like if you think about it, right? It's just so before COVID. It's hard to think of that now, but it's like that's never gonna happen. Like
okay,
the Spanish
well,
flu,
why didn't all the other countries just seem to do
that's
so
the
much
thing.
better?
Yeah,
Is because we leaned on them. They took action, and we waited for them to take action, so we can just piggyback.
yeah,
That's what we did.
yeah. Oh,
You
yeah.
know,
Oh yeah.
because I mean, like as soon as this pandemic started, getting hype. No, I'm kidding. No, when it was starting to become real, right? When it in December it started being rumors, and then by March it was real life. That's when we should have been taking action right then and there.
And
Open up factories, start pumping that.
And I'm strong in believing that in the future we will be
I
like
hope
that.
we learned our lesson
Because
for sure.
that's what I've been saying a lot too. Is we got lucky with COVID because it could have been something. No, just the world.
Oh, for sure.
Like the world wasn't ready for it.
No.
And it could have been something that was extremely more dangerous. Like,
but
very, very dangerous. It could have been like as contagious as COVID,
but be as deadly as
Ebola.
Yeah.
Like that's possible.
Or SARS or whatever.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, absolutely. I agree. But let's get away from COVID-19.
Back to Crippo. Crippo. Back to Crippo the Hippo.
So, good night.
Good night.
So, government acting upon the goodwill of the people. Which is why I think people are getting away from a currency that is controlled by the government.
Yeah.
I mean, look at what's going on in Canada with. I'm going on everything but crypto, but look at the housing market.
Yeah.
Shit hasn't changed for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
And I would say 20 years ago is when we would have needed to take action.
Yeah.
It's too late now. You know, and it's far too convenient with all the taxes that they're receiving. They're not going to stop the housing market.
No. Yeah.
Government's making mad cash off the housing market right now.
You
You can't blame them. I'm just saying, I don't think we should have a currency that's controlled by them. That just makes no sense. You know, we're always complaining about the cost of living going up and up and up and up and up and up and up. It's because, well, they can just print more and inflate it. So
exactly.
I don't know, man.
And it's also
kind of turns me off when
there's
you
a lot
start
of
looking at the bright sides of crypto.
There's a lot of different points. You know, like it's getting away from. I mean, getting where we are now in 2020 in the day and age of like technology and internet and everything. Just compared to like the 70s, the 60s, the 50s, even the 20s, like all the 1900s, pretty much. Like the governments were idolized. Like everybody loved their governments.
Yeah.
And I think to a certain extent, people still do.
In certain aspects, I'm not anti-government.
No, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It's just not what it used to be. Like it used to be significantly more.
Well, there was less out of control capitalism.
Yeah.
Back, I would say.
Yeah, I would say so too.
You know, and now it's more driven by that. So of course, big companies, you know, the companies like Walmart, they have a huge say in the government.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, they're the driving force behind the campaigns.
Absolutely.
So the government has no choice but to kind of bend their backs. It's the world we live in. But we got to kind of, again, if we want to revamp the system, we can't just keep participating in the same.
You got to take it into your own hands.
You got to try to strive for the change.
And it's sort of. Do you know what libertarian means?
I have an idea, but I wouldn't comfortably give it a definition. But isn't it more like in general, you think the government does a shit job, but.
Yeah, it's basically like anything you can do as long as you're not harming other people or like committing something that will hurt massive amounts of people. You should be able to do whatever you want to do. So decriminalization of drugs, people can do drugs if they want to. That's libertarian.
Right. Yeah, I'm very
You
driven
can sell
by
drugs
that.
to people that want to buy drugs. That's libertarian. Like, there's a lot of extremes to it.
There's a lot of extremes to it, but I think, it comes down to personal responsibility and choices, which I'm always a big fan of.
That's
so,
what it is. It's a lot of
Okay.
personal responsibilities
Yeah,
and
for
choices.
sure.
People can make their own choices for themselves,
Yeah,
and they should be allowed to make those choices
Right.
for themselves, no
Yeah.
matter what it be.
right.
So a part of that, which is what I enjoy about the cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin, Ethereum, all of that, is that it's a lot of like, I don't personally feel like, why does the government know, or what makes them that they should know on what I'm spending my money on, right? Like that's one of
Every
the
single transaction,
that's one of the attractive parts about cash.
for sure.
And it's strange saying that, because with your phone on you, like, especially when I watched a video the other day, with your phone on you, like the amount of stuff that they know about you now is ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
The
The government knows more about me than I do,
yeah. No, it's true. Some of the patterns, like they can figure out what you're going to be doing or what you're likely to do at any given time based on what you're doing, especially with smartwatches now. Do you have one?
No, not anymore.
Especially, why'd you get rid of it? Did you break it?
No,
Why'd you get rid of it then?
for what you're about to explain.
Really, eh?
Yeah,
Oh.
for sure.
Like you had one before?
Yeah, I had an Apple Watch.
Like you still have one?
No.
You still use it? Okay.
No, I don't have an Apple Watch anymore. I sold
Okay. That's funny.
it. It's not for me. It's
Because
for somebody
it's-
else to
It's it's for somebody else
get
to
fucking
do.
read by.
No, I mean, so if they know where you're going, and I don't mean to get too tinfoil hat either. Like it can sound a little bit like it is, but
Sure, but it's if it's the reality. It's
yeah,
the
if
reality,
they know where you're going, they know what you're spending your money on. They can also know what your heart rate and what your temperature, what your water levels, like what your heart rate's at when you purchase something. It gets you excited,
Yeah,
right? You go somewhere, you get that same excitement. They can know what's around you and
Yeah.
what you'll be likely to purchase.
right. And then advertisements start.
That's just an
pumping
example.
out. Yeah, it's a good one.
So they're basically like it's like a gold mine. Putting a watch on you, they can get your heart rate. They can get
Right.
so much stuff,
For
and that's
sure.
all. That's all it is now.
Bring back the classic watches, baby.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, there's actually, it was a Linus Tech Tips video on it. It's an open source, which I just taught you what that is.
Yeah.
Open source is software. No, not Discord. I'm completely wrong. I'm trying to think of something that's open source. Linux.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what Linux is?
Yeah. OS, right?
Yeah, it's an operating system.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, Mac is based on Linux.
Okay,
if you didn't
cool.
know that, or Unix. Sorry, same thing. That's open source, so it's open to the public. They can make changes and make it better, fix bugs.
Right.
Anybody can do it.
It's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, and a lot of that's the part I really love about like software and
Yeah.
development is how a lot of it is open. Like people just give their stuff away because it's always for expanding and making things better and better.
Right.
So what was I talking about? I was talking about a watch.
Yeah.
The watch is open source. The guy's making it. And there's no sensors. It doesn't share anything with the cloud. It's just a smart watch, and you can do what you
Right.
want to do with it.
Yeah. Which makes sense.
And it's really
Sounds like a
it's just
smart watch.
interesting. Exactly.
Right.
So another thing that's open source is cryptocurrency. The technology is always constantly being worked on. It's also safer if you think about it, because a company, so they have the best interest. That took me a minute. The best interest of people working on the software that is open source and fixing those bugs is just there's no interest other than wanting to make it better.
Right. And when you've got people volunteering their time, that's passion, right?
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
And if one thing's gonna change, or if one thing can make something change, it's passion.
Absolutely.
Passion can make things happen, baby. So. And listen, now recently we're seeing more and more acceptance of cryptocurrency. You've got Visa and MasterCard starting to accept
Yeah.
it, which is huge.
Yeah.
Right?
It's very big.
I saw an article, Sacramento Kings. One
Yeah,
second.
pull it up. Another interesting thing, sort of with people adopting it, is like what we do need is a lot of people like Elon Musk or like bigger people like Mark Cuban that are adopting cryptocurrency.
Well, yeah, I mean, Tesla
Tesla.
put $1.5 billion.
And they're accepting Bitcoin payments, purchases.
Yeah. And look at this. Sacramento Kings to offer Bitcoin salary options to all players.
What, is that a basketball team? Sounds like it would be a basketball team.
Hey, Siri. What's the Sacramento Kings?
Hmm?
There are 16 players on the Kings.
Well,
You
what
can
are
also
they?
ask me about a specific player or position.
You see it?
Shooting guard, Buddy Heald.
Shooting guard.
Basketball. Thanks, Siri.
I don't know much about basketball, but shooting guard?
That sounds basketball.
That's volleyball
right?
for sure.
Yeah. That's golf.
I freaking love ping pong, dude. Jeez.
Man, have you ever been?
No.
Okay.
Have you ever been what?
No, I was just. I don't know what I was gonna say.
No, go ahead.
No, I don't.
No, please.
No, okay. Do you think that?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So you've got big money now entering the game,
Mm-hmm.
but you've got guys like Bill Gates that are just not believers in Bitcoin. So we're seeing a lot of extreme opposites
Mm-hmm.
right now, but I don't know. I feel like with this next wave, with this brand new generation, living through all this pandemic and to see how it was handled, and I feel like there might be not a rebellion, but I feel like people are going to consider
And
all options.
Our generation, I think, is very bullish on making change happen.
Yes.
Very bullish. Not just Gen Z, but like millennials too.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Um.
Well, I mean, listen, we're labeled as lazy. We're labeled as useless. We complain about everything.
I mean,
Sounds like every other generation to ever exist.
It's
to me.
Exactly.
Me.
It does. Yeah.
So
And it's like I'm going to use it as an example, like the cancel culture.
Mhm.
Like it's a bad movement.
Agreed.
Just how everything, like, doesn't matter what you said. We'll not get too much into it.
No,
But
not today.
no matter what you said, whenever you can get canceled for, like, if you were 12 years old or whatever.
It doesn't matter.
But
Yeah.
they're still making things happen,
Yes.
right? Like they're making change happen.
Yeah.
That's the good thing. Quote me. That's the good part about cancel culture. No.
Yeah.
It's true.
No,
about
for sure. You
about
gotta give it to
about
them.
the society.
They make shit happen.
They do make shit happen.
They make people feel
Which is
guilty
extremely-
for no reason. A lot of
Which
things
is-
can happen when you do that.
Which is
sure.
extremely. I'm really excited to see where it goes once we start really getting into it, and the millennials start getting into positions of power as well, and things start actually
for sure.
happening.
Because I mean, the older generation is on their way out with their careers,
Mhm.
and their life. No, I'm kidding. No, but not to be crass, but listen, times are changing,
Absolutely.
right? So it's just it's really cool to see, and I mean, listen, it's being adapted now, and it used to be never talked about, like even just last year. What the hell was an Ethereum last year?
Yeah.
Like no one was really talking about it.
No, nobody was talking.
But now
about
it's an entire decentralized service for developers to come together.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, holy smokes. And every crypto right now, or almost every crypto, is at an all-time high.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it's, I don't know. It could also be because of I'm sure the pandemic had some role to play in it, because
Well, a lot more time on your hands to do some
Yeah.
due diligence,
Exactly.
research, reading.
and just like the
realizing
idea, I think
what-
a lot of people realizing what's going on.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people really like the idea of it being something that's decentralized, and that nobody really gets any gain off of.
Right.
Right? Like nobody, if Bitcoin goes
It's
up,
controlled by the people.
the only people that get a gain off of it or get profits or succeed when Bitcoin succeeds is people that are invested into Bitcoin.
Right.
That's not like a company in stocks where you invest in the company does really well, but the company's doing really well. The CEO is getting so much more rich,
Mm-hmm.
so much more richer.
Right.
And he's really, And I mean, so you're winning, they're winning, everybody's winning, but
Right.
it's not specifically super centralized where it's really dense profits in the upper part of a company.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So that's one of the things that I think is super attractive about,
for sure.
about cryptocurrency.
Absolutely. It doesn't mean it doesn't come with its risks, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
Technically, I mean, it could lose that hype, right? And because the value is solely based on the faith of big money, the next big thing could come around the corner and everyone could drop Bitcoin and it
Everyone
could
could drop
literally fall to zero.
And move to, yeah, it could.
Right. It could.
Can it move to actually zero?
Maybe. I would say, yeah.
We'll need to.
Anything can go to zero.
I'll need to actually look at that. That's now that you said that, I'm wondering.
It'd
like,
be
I'm curious.
to go completely to zero. I'd say possibilities would be very low because I feel like there's too much attractiveness to cryptocurrency. Right? You got the anonymous aspect of it is enough for certain people.
Oh yeah,
Just that.
yeah.
But there's a lot more benefits than that. So it's going to be interesting to see how it unfolds. But
The one unfortunate thing about Bitcoin and all cryptocurrency currently is just how volatile it is right now. So giving the option for someone to pay or paying for a Tesla with Bitcoin.
right, it depends on the price of it that
Exactly.
minute.
And that was a big thing. I talked to you many weeks ago about Silk Road, the website.
Okay.
Do you remember that?
No.
It was it was like in the 2012s. I think it ended in 2012. It was basically an online dark market website,
Okay.
like on the dark web,
Mm-hmm.
where you could purchase any kind of drugs, guns, organs,
Anything.
whatever it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
whatever you want. It's
and you
there.
bought it with Bitcoin.
Sure.
And the big problem is so for example, I was watching something about people hiring hitmen. And
Oh yeah, man.
so
Nuts.
it's not talking about, like, I'm not talking about people actually buying hitmen, but it's
But there's
just an
contracts
example.
that you can.
Yeah, so
buy.
there's contracts. You bought a contract, and then you say, okay, I'll give you 50% of it now and 50% when you
Right.
finish the job.
Bring
So-
me the head.
Exactly. Or you can say, yeah, do something, take a picture, whatever it is. It
Yeah,
doesn't
whatever
matter.
it is, yeah. Take
And
a video.
so
Sorry.
I don't know why I thought of this example, but so when they purchased the 50% of it with cash and gave them the transfer of Bitcoin,
Yep.
when they actually cashed out the Bitcoin, it could be worth way less.
Right.
So what happens? Like, who eats that that loss of cash? Right, and that's just the
Well, I would say
unfortunate thing.
a transaction is a consensual relationship between two
Yeah,
people. So you know what you're getting into,
that's true.
right?
It is true. I just think that's one of the things that will drive people off of Bitcoin
Oh,
currently.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Because the only
Until it
thing about
stabilizes.
Bitcoin is right now is just getting profit.
Right,
Getting,
I
getting those tendies and gains.
Oh,
you know,
for sure.
heading
For
to
sure.
the moon. And so when it's away from that, and when it's really,
But we're heading towards there. You
Yeah.
know? So it's going to be interesting.
I really, more than I want it to go off, it'd be amazing if it does stabilize, because it's just, there's so much. If it stabilizes and it's as much as cash does, like cash is like really extremely stable right now. If you look at the exchange rates and stuff like
Right.
that, if it gets to that point, it's gonna be,
We're in.
yeah, it's gonna be good. And I'm just curious, something that I thought of too. If it's constantly staying at the same price, I guess a road bump will be a road bump.
Yeah,
A
sure.
bump in the road
Yeah.
will be when.
Little speed
So if
bump.
cash is constantly being inflated, so it's
Printers go burr.
worth less and less and less.
Yeah.
And Bitcoin staying stable,
Uh-huh.
that means that Bitcoin will always keep going up. Think about that for a second.
If nobody sells.
No, just in general. So let's say the price of Bitcoin is stable. Like
Right.
It's like staying at
Oh, well, yeah,
$50,000.
technically. Oh, yeah, I understand what
Yeah.
you're trying to say. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I'll
because
try to
the
explain it a
value of
little
money
better.
is going down.
Exactly.
So the value technically of Bitcoin's going up. Even if it's not. It's always going up.
So that will, yeah, exactly.
Okay,
And so
okay.
Bitcoin or cryptocurrency will continually be going up because of the value of cash going down.
Right.
And this is just comparing it directly to cash.
Right.
So if you were to completely get rid of the current system, the currency system on which we do it right now, based on we didn't really talk about this, but based on the actual buying into the actual country itself, which is what cash is currently.
Right.
It'll look like it's constantly going up, but it's completely getting away from that. It'll stay stable, and you'll just be buying. You'll be able to give. I mean, so that does it really matter? So the value of Bitcoin currently, I'm just going off tangents
Hey,
right
dude,
now.
it's okay. I'm all
The
ears.
value of Bitcoin is really going up, and it's worth so much more because of cash.
Yes.
So if cash didn't exist, it wouldn't be.
If cash didn't exist, that would probably be the currency we'd based ourselves on. Is crypto, right?
But what would
If
give
cash
it?
didn't exist?
Yeah, but what would give it the?
Well, you said it yourself, supply and demand.
But what would it be based on? Do you know what I mean?
What would crypto be based on?
Yeah. Like, what would it be? Would it be based on?
Nothing.
It's just kind of hard to wrap your head around, I think.
It's based on nothing. It's based on faith,
Yeah.
you know? Unless Bitcoin was attached to something, such as, in the 70s when
But
cash was
Bitcoin,
attached to gold.
technically, it is something that's tangible, right? Like, it's more like gold than it is like cash.
Right.
And so the value of gold, I mean, so think about it. I would say back in the day, but hundreds of thousands of years ago, tens of thousands of years ago,
Okay, we're going
when
far
people
back.
were trading gold, everything was always worth the same. I'll give you 2 shillings of gold.
Yeah.
Do you like that?
Oh, yeah.
2 shillings of gold for a llama.
Right. You said 10,000 years ago, though. That's a long time.
Okay, well, a couple thousand years ago.
I would say, listen, in the years like between 700 and 900, the main currency was silver and gold.
Of course, the
right?
Vikings. So.
Yeah, medieval times.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, we'll say that.
Like
Between the
10,000 years ago, that shit's caveman. Rocks.
That shit's
give you
caveman.
rook. You give me rook.
You give me fire.
But back
Yeah,
in the
so-
day, it was the transaction was I have something you want and you have something I want.
So the price, the base price of everything was always the same.
So what do you mean by that? The base
There's
price?
so in that time, over the 200, 300, 400 years, 2 shillings or 2 shards of gold will always get you the llama.
Right. Well,
No
I
matter
would
what
say,
time it is. What would make it not, is what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? Like,
well, back then people could like set their own price too. So I guess
it's
that would
constantly
influence-
based on people.
Right.
So that brought us back. So Bitcoin, it would be like how it used to be. Putting really lightly and looking over it in a broad spectrum.
But you can't set the price of the Bitcoin yourself.
No, but the Bitcoin is what I'm trying to say. It gets a little confusing, and I'm sorry
Hey, it's
if
okay.
you're listening to it and you're confused.
Hey,
But
maybe the people at home are trying to help us out. They're screaming
help Elsa.
at,
They try to help Elsa.
Can you leave me alone? Maybe the people at home are trying to help us out. They're yelling at their screen like, "Do you mean this? Do you mean that?"
One thing I wanted to say, whoever's listening,
If there's anyone out there listening,
if you want us to go deeper into the fundamentals of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, I'll be more than happy to do a lot more research
oh, for sure. Well,
into
listen,
the deep
this,
of it.
I feel like this podcast was just to start a conversation on crypto.
Yeah.
Start some noise about cryptocurrency.
Yeah,
you know?
I agree. So
And,
we will be doing more.
This is not the last
we
time
will-
that.
I want to get really deep into what
I
it
do
is.
wanna get really deep
and technical.
And I want to talk about NFTs too because
Yeah, that's something.
that is absolutely bonkers. and we were laughing because, shit, man, I feel like this is some Black Mirror stuff. Like you're living your world digitally.
Yeah. You can
And
buy a
things are
digital
worth-
house and digital land and
Yeah, and I'm gonna go see my digital wife and
for
my digital kids. And,
$10,000.
yeah,
So
it just doesn't make sense. And how, yeah, we're gonna talk about NFTs in another podcast.
Yeah, we
I
will.
think, but
I agree. So what I was
so
saying,
back to it. Yeah.
yeah. So Bitcoin right now, the price of Bitcoin is based on the U.S. or Canadian dollar, right? So you're saying, okay, this Bitcoin is. How do you give it the value? What do you say? Like, what is Bitcoin right now? What's it at?
Like $74,000.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if dollars weren't a thing, it would just be Bitcoin. So you wouldn't say, oh, that's 70,000 what?
Oh, right. Well, yeah. No, of course.
So, but that's what I mean. So if we only use that,
Right.
if we adopted that,
Mhm.
it would be back to what it used to be. People could set their own prices, and it doesn't matter what it's worth because it's worth what you want it to be worth.
In a way, I suppose you could do that for sure.
It's just interesting that
For sure.
something like that, because it is the properties that it has resemble a lot like what silver, gold,
But you know what?
bronze, what it used to be.
One thing I see happening, one of my theories, can I share?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is banks will adopt cryptocurrency.
Actually, so one thing that I
That's
forgot
what I
to
think is
mention
going to
is
happen, right?
the
'Cause I
Federal
mean, listen-
Reserve
Yeah, go ahead.
is announcing some sort of cryptocurrency that they're investigating and doing research on in May, I believe they're
Okay.
going to announce it. So it's pretty. It's
there you
pretty. But I feel like that defeats the whole purpose of cryptocurrency. Because the basis to me, what cryptocurrency means is decentralization.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like,
But when it
can
comes
that
down
exist?
to it,
Can there be? Yeah, I don't know.
But when it comes down to it,
my
you know,
understanding.
it's basically a different way to have cash
Yes,
and to prove that you actually have something. So that's what the technology
and
allows.
to protect your money as well.
Exactly.
It's a great way to do that.
Exactly. So you own something. It could be the technology behind it makes it what it is. It could be anything really. Like you could have 5 Word documents on your thing, and it could be worth something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's an example I'm trying to give. But when it comes down to it, that technology allows the complications of currency to exist.
Absolutely.
And if that,
and regardless of the currencies, there's going to be complications.
yeah, and if that, but what I'm trying to say is, if that's all that comes from it, is a new way of doing currency, and it gets away from the decentralization and everything like that.
Right. Then I feel like we'd just be back to square one.
No, but I feel like it
Just
is
a
a step forward too, because it's adopting
way, of
technology.
course.
It's adopting technology in a huge way, and it's making
Absolutely.
a major change to how everything
Huge change.
happens.
Yeah.
So, I mean, getting rid of cash completely, like in 30 years, telling your kids about cash and they don't know what cash is, that'd be wild. But I think that that's
I
not too
fully
far
be-
off.
I fully believe that.
I think that that'll happen.
I never have cash on me.
Yeah, I know.
And I've been doing it for a while. Man, ever since I got my first debit card.
Yeah,
And I
me
used
too.
to use my debit card for like, let's say, you get a coffee, $2, debit card.
I still do.
People are like, oh, you're using your card for $2?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. Well, it's too, yeah.
There's no fees.
No, I know. Especially when you're a kid. When you get older, I don't know if you realize, but you're going to have to start paying fees on it.
Oh, when you're older?
Yeah. I think it's when you're done. It's either when you're done post-secondary. Yeah.
Okay, well, just use your
That
credit.
counts. That's what I mean.
Well, that's what you should be doing anyway.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Build up your credit.
It's
transfer the money right
it's
to your
dangerous
credit
though,
card. Done.
because it is easy to get slipped away because it's not really your money that you're spending. You know what I mean? Like
Okay,
it
well, at
is
that
dangerous.
point, I mean,
no, but
it's not really dangerous.
It's not for everyone, is what I'm saying.
Mm.
Not everybody can do it, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, I would say there's something wrong with that. If you can't control your spending, you've got
It's-
something wrong going on with you.
Okay, well, I didn't want
No,
to
you
get too
do.
extreme.
What?
No, I mean it's like it's
You have a $10,000 credit card and you literally can't help yourself but spending that $10,000 every time it's available? You've got a problem.
yeah, but you shouldn't. Is what I'm saying is you shouldn't use it then.
Right. But in a world like today, you don't have much of a choice. You got to build your credit score
Well,
if you
that's
want
true.
anything.
That's true. That's a good
It's
point.
reality.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got it's not okay, listen, it's an option if you want.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be hard to get a car loan. It's going to be hard to get a mortgage. It's going to be hard to get anything.
Oh, it will be, absolutely.
Right? Because you got no credit.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to rent something. Your renter is going to go like, well, you got no credit. How can I trust you?
Yeah. How do I know you're good for your money? Like,
Right.
what are you going to show
Exactly.
me?
So it's like, sorry, you just got to learn to be disciplined.
Mhm.
Like,
No,
I don't
it's
know.
true.
You know what I mean? Like,
It's true. But yeah, so where this all came from is, yeah, so when you do get old, I think it's like over 25, or when you open up a new bank account when you're
Mhm.
not in post-secondary, you have to start paying fees.
okay, because me, it's
No, for
been-
my bank account either, but I
been no
just
fees
opened up a joint bank account with my girlfriend, and there is
Uh-huh.
fees
Yeah, yeah.
per month unless you hold a certain amount of money in your account.
Right.
But yeah, so that's. Anyways, what were we talking about there? I don't know. It doesn't matter. I just think it's going to be very interesting. I just love the way. I just love how much technology, something that is literally just man-made, like is able to change. Like, think about it. Like, we built something that is capable of being more intelligent than ourselves, and that's just, I love that.
Right. But is it more intelligent than us since we created it?
It's quicker.
But does that mean it's smarter? Just
I think-
because it's more efficient.
I think so. Don't you think so?
Just because something's more efficient doesn't mean it's more smart.
More smarter? Yeah, I mean, but it's able to figure out stuff that you can't, like calculations.
yeah.
There's no limits. Any computer.
No, for
They're
sure.
all the
No,
same.
I was just tugging your balls.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just find it so interesting, so
Yeah.
like amazing.
No, for sure. I mean, when you're in a complex field, AI is going to beat you every single time, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I would say like trades,
Yeah.
or teaching. I don't see how
No,
AI
no.
and things like that can start replacing us.
No, I don't think it'll replace us like that. I just
But
love.
that's what I mean. Just because something's more efficient at something doesn't mean it's smarter.
No, you're right. You're right. Because it would need a fundamental change to how we do everything in order for them to be able to take over.
Right.
Which
And that's the thing,
we have control over.
right. Like you're the one literally coding the robot,
Mm-hmm.
the AI.
Mm-hmm.
You can shut it off if
Yeah.
you want to.
Yeah.
How is it smarter? Like
No,
it's not going to
it's-
suddenly
that's a
become its
whole-
own thing and take over
It's a whole
life.
conversation that we do want to have a podcast on. We actually wrote
on
it
AI.
down.
That would be invariably interesting. Absolutely.
Because there's a lot. I mean, there's a
a
lot
lot.
about it. It's basically. I mean, it's like I was saying. It's just. I just find it super interesting
Yeah.
that
No,
it's being
absolutely.
adopted in ways that people never thought that it could be used. Like nobody knew what the internet was. So many people thought it was just a phase and just a gag thing, and it's gonna go away.
Back in the day, I think maybe in the 80s, computers, the only thing they were used for is for military communication if ever there's a complete blackout.
Yeah.
And they saw no other use other than that. And
Yeah.
now look where we are.
Yeah.
Right? So it just goes to show you, again, that including myself, I don't have a complex here going on, including myself. Nobody knows what the hell is going to happen.
No.
Nobody.
No.
So
people can be right.
you just
again,
got
again,
right.
like we said at the beginning.
If you say enough things, you're
You're
bound to be eventually right.
You're bound to be
you know?
right. It's true.
Listen, there's innovation that is left and right. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we don't know where that innovation will take us.
No.
We can't predict these things.
No.
The best you can do is strap on for the ride
And just enjoy it.
enjoy it and try to be as flexible as possible so that you can maneuver as many
And
possibilities
take
as
advantage
possible.
of things that you see that are coming up,
Right. Exactly.
and just live.
Yeah. So go buy yourselves, okay, a $10,000 pixelated NFT
Oh.
of a little guy smoking a cigar, okay, please, and resell it
For
at
20,000.
at least 2 times the price. Seriously, I think maybe next episode we can talk about NFTs.
I want to get into
'Cause
NFTs. Yeah.
That shit almost made me believe that we're almost in a simulation.
There's some Black Mirror type shit, and it's weird.
Oh yeah. If you guys ever watch Black Mirror, just wait till we start talking about NFTs. Wow, wee wah.
Wow, wee wah. And yeah, like I said again, if there's anybody that wants us to know more better about everything.
No,
if
but if
anybody
there's
wants to
something-
know, the fundamentals, the deep stuff in cryptocurrency, or stuff that you don't understand, that you would like us to beautifully explain to you.
It's not going to be me. This guy to my left is going to be the one doing, I'd say, most of the
Deep explanation of
the
stuff.
deep explanation.
And Eric will just give us 2 cents because that's what he's good at.
Yeah, I'll give my 2 cents. I'll try to be as funny as possible, and I'll read as much as possible too.
Yeah.
I mean, because I am looking into. I mean, we talked about this. I am looking into invest in crypto.
Yeah.
But I'm not investing into crypto until I know what the hell's going on.
Until now, yeah, exactly.
Or the next crash. Whichever comes first.
Whichever comes first. That's right. Just keep your eye out.
Yeah.
Wallet open and your eye out.
Yeah, 24/7. You want a market that never closes? Crypto.
Yeah.
Everyone's talking
So-
about why can't the market just never close?
Well, it does. It's just not looking at the right market.
Exactly.
And that's fine. Like that, this is something that I don't know how to say that. Understand more, I guess.
Yeah, it's language that you can work around.
Yeah, exactly. And
Like again,
whereas-
all this lingo that I was watching, I was like, listen, like wow.
Mhm.
All this EF1155, it's like ECG 447. I don't know
Is
what
that
you're
your
saying.
username?
Yes. Yes, it is. Add me on PS. No.
No, it's but that's fine. I mean, something that
But that's the
it's
thing.
more
is
my
because-
language, and whereas mental health was more, and psychology was more something that you knew, and I was sort of piggybacking off.
Yeah, but that's the joy of conversation.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
is to let each other talk,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think a big part of it is going to. I think one of the goals we're trying to do here with cryptocurrency is, first of all, get the conversation going.
Mm-hmm.
Use language that we all understand when we're talking about crypto,
Yeah.
right? Because one of the big things when I started researching crypto is, what's all this lingo, man?
Yeah.
It's the same with Wall Street. It's like they don't want you to understand it.
For crypto, it's not necessarily that, because, I mean, some people it is. Like that video we watched, that guy was in left field playing ball with himself.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But a lot of things with crypto, you need to have a basic understanding of computers, or a bit.
Which
of
I would say
more-
most people have. If you use, you can explain the thing that I'm trying to say is you can explain cryptocurrency in a way that most people will understand.
Yeah, you can.
But a lot of these videos and a lot of these articles that I was reading,
Yeah. Just trying to make things way too
Holy-
complicated.
wow, overwhelming.
Yeah.
Overwhelming at its finest. You know, like,
It's-
it's like, wow.
I mean, so
even know where to
that would make it's not. There needs to be more simplistic approaches to cryptocurrency.
Yeah,
Not
and I
everybody
think-
needs to know.
And I think
Blockchain
personally,
114 bought 30 shares today
No.
at 365.7432.
right. But knowing what a blockchain is, a good thing.
Yeah. Exactly.
But knowing the science behind it, not really necessary.
Eh.
But I would say knowing about it.
Just
But
like
I think
not everybody knows the science behind cash.
right.
Is there science behind cash?
Just printers.
Science behind printers?
Oh yeah.
So there is science behind cash.
A lot of programming behind printers for
so
sure.
there is programming. Cash comes from programming. Humans made cash.
And that's our 2 cents.
I mean, it's true though. Humans did make cash, but
Yeah, that's what you think.
oh. Anyways, that's our 2 cents.
I think that's going to be our goal is to expose crypto to
A bigger audience.
bigger audience with language that we can all appreciate.
Exactly. I like that. And that's what we'll try to. We in general we try to do that. Keep things civil. Keep things easy to understand from our point of view.
Maybe that's
If
just
it's
our
too-
perception.
If it's too difficult to understand
Please
what
let
we were
us
going
know.
out, I'm sure there was
And
some
if you're
things like
completely
we were
lost
talking
like I
about.
am, let us know.
Yeah.
And if there's something you want to know, let us
Let
know.
us know, and we will know that you want to know that.
So that's our 4 divided by 2 cents.
Yes.
Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone.
Thank you very much.
That was the first episode on crypto. We're not done yet. We haven't touched much on Ethereum, Litecoin, NFTs. There's-
Dogecoin. I want to touch on Dogecoin.
Yeah, I do not want to touch on
Dogecoin.
that at all.
I just want to touch about it because I just want to go over some
I
parts
know.
of it.
But yeah, we'll talk about all that good stuff. We're going to talk about more big money getting behind it. I'm sure that by the time we film the next crypto podcast, there's going to be more news about
Oh,
it.
guaranteed.
It's a forever changing daily field. So until then, Thank you so much for the support. Until
Thank
next
you.
time.
Take care.
Ciao, ciao.